Welcome to the Radio Horror Show in multiple timelines as we are talking about the second Hulu Predator film from the Disney 20th century films. So this is the second time we've had a Predator film under this, and two for two on awesome storytelling and better handled than the last four attempts at Predators. Predators, Alien versus Predator 1 and 2, all disasters. Just whatever. I don't care. They're awful films compared to the first two. But this film gives us a chance to possibly have legendary actors back in Predator in animation in a way I never thought possible. Because let's face it, certain actors will not ever come back to do a Predator movie at their age in their 70s and 80s. But in animation, absolutely. And I hope that is the next step based on what we see at the end of this movie, which I'm not going to give away, but there's a plot device used in this film, and I think it's really well done. So we'll have to wait and see. My big highlight of this film, besides the fact it's from the guy who made Prey, is we got Rick Gonzalez from the Arrow universe working, which is fantastic because I really loved that actor, and he has that same kind of like attitude in this that he did on Arrow. So that was a big highlight for me. But this was a lot of fun. Predator, killer of killers. Maybe if this does well, Katie, Disney will release the Alien versus Predator animated series that was made back in 2020 before the pandemic in 2019, right after the Disney acquisition of Fox, and got shelved, which was on Kevin Smith's podcast being talked about by the animator saying, yeah, we did 13 episodes of an Alien versus Predator cartoon, and it's sitting in a Disney vault right now.
I mean, we can all hope because that would be fantastic, especially after watching, Predator, Killer of Killers. Like, this is a solid addition to the Predator series. And honestly, my only negative, or big negative for it is watching it on Hulu. If you get the commercials, it's really, really annoying. Like, this is a tight hour 25-minute movie and excellent. Like, doesn't need to have anything cut, doesn't need to have anything drawn out or anything like that. It's great, but with the commercials, honestly, it makes it seem so much longer. And I was realizing that when I was watching it, it's like, you know what? If I was watching this without commercials, I would just be watching this again and again and again because they made this freaking tight. Now, as Chris said, we're going back and forth in time. This is set in three time periods: the shield, the sword, and the bullet. The shield is set in like 800 AD with Vikings and whatnot. For me, that is the Predator that is the most like not dumbfounding, but founding to me. I mean, it's like 8 feet tall. It's huge. Predators are already like scary creatures in themselves. This one is just a gargantuan monster. I mean, it's walking on two legs, but my God, it is huge. It is ruthless like every predator is. It has the fun little weapons and cool designs and all like that. But of the three that are in this film, I mean, there's actually more, but of the three main predators, this is the one that scares the crap out of me. In fact, I think it's the scariest predator of all. With the animation, the one that I love the most is the sword. That is set in 1609 Japan. It is breathtaking. And it is also a little confusing with all three of the segments. And, usually with all Predator films, the Predator is enticed by the violence and the fighting. And that's what brings it to the area that it's in. And then it gets involved and wants to kill, whoever is the baddest of the bad in any situation. With the second segment, which is a little confusing, there is fighting, but not before the predator shows up, which doesn't make sense to me. In any case, I'm not going to look too much into it, and it's not going to be like, and this should have been like this. The animation in this one is honestly the most beautiful, in my opinion. There, the sunrises, the sunsets, everything regarding like smoke bombs and just even like the background is just absolutely breathtaking. Like everyone who worked on that, kudos to you, because I know it probably was different people in different segments, like absolutely amazing. And then the third one is set in 1941, 1942 in Florida and in the Pacific. That one is one that we will have, if you are a cinephile or just know movies in general, you're going to have voices that you're going to recognize. As Chris said, you've got Rick Gonzalez, you've got Michael Bean, you've got Felix Solis, who you may know from different shows on Netflix, like Ozark and the new one, Sirens. He's in tons of stuff. And as soon as you hear his voice, you're going to be like, I know that. I know. I don't know why I know that. He plays the dad in the third one. And that is one of the points I want to make about this film, which I don't think people realize. And Chris, I don't know if you did either. This is a perfect time, as we are recording this. This is a perfect time to discuss Predator, Killer, Killers, because besides the Predator, each one of these three segments has something in common. Dads. Number one is about avenging your father. Number two is about the animosity that your father puts you onto your sibling. And number three is about making your father proud. I don't know if a lot of, I'm actually doing two other reviews. I know I'm doing one and I'm actually doing two. I'm doing two other reviews on Predator, Killer of Killers, and I don't think everyone realizes how perfectly it is to discuss this on Father's Day. So if you see it, look out for that. Um,
I also didn't
the
know Michael Biehn was in this one, and that
Yeah,
means he has fulfilled a thing that only Bill Paxton fulfilled by being the only actor in the three genres of Terminator, Predator, and Alien. And is he killed in this? Did his character get killed?
he did. Yeah,
Okay, so then he gets killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and technically, I mean, his character gets killed off in Alien 3, so
he does. I mean, he gets killed off in Alien 3. He doesn't get killed by an alien.
right.
I mean, that's
Wah,
kind
wah.
of.
Oh, and he's in
But
and he's technically in Star Wars. He's in The
yeah,
Mandalorian for one episode.
yeah. And I mean, with um the final act of the film wraps around the three. I don't want to necessarily give it away because I think it's very well done. And as Chris said, there is a little bit of a wink to another film that Dan Trachtenberg directed. That hopefully that means there will also be a sequel to this, which I think there will, because it seems like it definitely, the story doesn't necessarily end but goes on, and it's one of those that I would be very, very interested to see. I thought the characters were well rounded. I thought their backstories were short, to the point, didn't need more. Again, I with the times on each of them, I thought they were nice and tight, got us what we needed to know, put us where we needed to be, and move forward. I thought the emotions for everyone, like the emotional displays of these animated characters, was beyond like, this is some beautiful, beautiful animation. And if this is the way they want to go with future ones, have at it. My only, as I said, my only negative is that there were so many, many commercials in this that honestly it threw me off. I do not remember there being that many in Prey. I don't know why. And yeah, I know if you sign up for Hulu with a higher subscription or Disney with a higher subscription, there wouldn't
Or
be
get the
commercials.
Blu-ray.
So there's that. But this one definitely has a lot of commercials in it. So that would be my only negative. But again, that's not really the film. That's more the distribution. So this is one of those things, see it with your dad, see it and think of your dad, see it and, wish your dad was still around so he could see it. But yeah, this is a great Father's Day film, and one that I didn't even think about it until I was starting to put my most notes together that yeah, if I have to pick one of my top 10 Father's Day films, this is maybe it's not gonna be in the top 10. I don't know, it might make the top 20 at least. But yeah, I say definitely go and see this.
I My son hasn't seen Prey or Predator Killer or Killers. He's seen Predator 1 and 2. So that's it. And then he's seen the better of the Alien films, let's just say. um
Well, and if he hasn't
the
seen Prey, it's he won't be missing a lot. There's just one part that won't have as big as an impact as others that have seen Prey. But I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a great film for him to see. There's a
well, I hope this
lot of
I hope
gore.
yeah. Cart the animation by this is by a studio called uh The Third Floor. That's the name of the animation studio. I've seen their stuff before. They're really they have done things in on Netflix with a lot of their animation. I'm almost positive they're also Blue Eye Samurai's animators, which makes a lot of sense based on the sequence that we had in the middle of the three stories. The middle story is the one that's catching most people's attention, and they're also comparing it to Star Wars Visions Episode One, which was set in a feudal Japan Star Wars universe.
Mm.
Every one of those visions is its own Star Wars universe. They're all, it's like a multiverse kind of thing. But they're all done by different animation studios. I do hope Predator Killer of Killers gets a Blu-ray as Prey did. It was a shock to find out that Prey was getting a Blu-ray. It was like a year ago. It was when Disney announced that they were going to be putting out also like Mandalorian season one and Loki season one on Blu-ray and things like that. So they were like really like, hey, oh yeah, there's a collector's market out there that we can make money on. So let's get these films out in time for Christmas, and television shows in time for Christmas because they're putting all their films out. All the MCU films come out on Blu-ray, but stuff's been left behind. But thankfully, Alien got a Blu-ray and Prey did as well. And Prey was directly on streaming. So we're hoping Predator Killer of Killers. So anybody who's had the problems with commercials like Katie mentioned, just wait for it. The reaction has been positive enough. This should be getting a Blu-ray and a 4K. There should not be any reason why it isn't, because of the fact that the Predator collectors want that disc to add to their collection. So I can't recommend this movie enough. I was blown away. I was hesitant, like a lot of people. I saw the trailer and was just like, "Well, that looks cool," but we'll have to wait and see. But I was gripped. I was engaged. I watched it like late night movie for me. I don't usually watch movies at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. That's usually when I'm either gaming or watching a single episode of a TV show or reading. So I was shocked that I was engaged in this all the way to the very end. And it's a quick one and done, an hour and 25 minutes,
Yeah.
not very long. This isn't like a chore to get through. Trust me, this isn't filler. It picks up, it goes. The characters are engaging, and the Predator is really cool. And there's a great little teaser connected to another film that is goes back to what I said at the beginning of this review. I highly recommend it. I really hope this is going to give Predator Badlands, which is coming out this fall, some momentum, and get this out on disc too before that movie comes out because I think that would really help it. I'm hoping Badlands is good. It looks all right. Obviously, marketing needs to kick it up a notch, but I digress. This is the same director too, right?
Yeah, Trachtenberg, I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's got the keys of the Predator franchise, and him and the director of Alien Romulus have already talked about doing an Alien Predator crossover. So that you know what I mean, with those two helming it, I think it could be extremely well done.
Really, Fetty Alvarez,
Yeah,
that's
they
cool.
both are like,
Okay.
no, yeah, we want to do an Alien Predator crossover. We would co-direct it both or whatever. He would direct his Predator stuff. I direct the Alien stuff, kind of like James Gunn directing Guardians of the Galaxy stuff within the Avengers. Things like that happening. I just let's make sure it's a good script because you failed twice, and there was 1,000 comic books and books that came out prior to those two movies that you could have taken better source
Yeah.
material from. But I digress. Go see this film. Do yourself a favor. I think it's next week. Marvel Comics is publishing um, Aliens versus the Avengers issue number 4. It's been a phenomenal read. Also, Spider-Man Predator has actually been really good. It's hilarious to think about, but it's not the Predator hunting Spider-Man as much as the Predator is just in Spider-Man's like wheelhouse. It's Kraven the Hunter versus the Predator more, which makes a lot more sense because Kraven hunts things and the Predator hunts things. Fighting Spider-Man just doesn't make sense as a fight. It's not like when he fights Batman or the last two Predator conflicts with Marvel were Predator versus Wolverine and Predator versus Black Panther. And
So wait
Predator
a minute.
versus
So
Wolverine was really good.
the mouse owns Aliens, Predator, and all of the Marvel.
Yep. And Marvel publishes Alien and Predator comic books. And the Alien comic book, because of the fact that when you have a villain like the aliens, you cannot drop them in the modern day Marvel universe, I believe, or they haven't figured out a way to do it yet. So it's set in the far future. So it's an alternate, it's like a what if. It's like, what if the aliens fought the Avengers? It would end badly for the Avengers and everyone on Earth. And it does. It's like DC's or The Last of Us. It's those kind of stories with the Avengers. It's bad. The best part is when Miles gets a face hugger put on him, the face hugger is absorbed into his body because he's wearing the Venom symbiote. And the Venom symbiote like takes the xenomorph physiology into itself and he becomes like a Venom xenomorph hybrid. It's just like, okay, sure, that makes sense.
Oh my God, that's just nightmare fuel. Like, Jesus, damn, that mouse is all powerful. It's really getting
And
scary.
it's like
But
they have to get the last vestiges of Earth like off into space, and the last two people left on Earth or whatever to get everyone off the planet because the planet is just a mess. Because the what do you call it? The engineers are going to destroy the Earth because they realize their experiment has gone nuts. So the last two people to make sure everyone gets off the planet is the Hulk and Captain America as they like fighting the Xenomorph army, just enveloping them as Captain Marvel, Miles, and whatever's left of the Avengers gets off Earth with the 300 remaining humans.
wow, all I can think of is Captain America about like seeing an army of xenomorphs coming toward him, and then he hears to your left, and he just turns and a face hunter like gets on his face, like unlike Endgame when
Yeah, yeah,
woo.
it's intense. And by the way, this is like old man Cap. This is old lady Captain Marvel. This is like middle aged Miles Morales because this is like in the future. So the Avengers are old. You know what I mean? They're not like young. So it's a horrifying story, and I love it because there's no way to do that normally. But anyway, I digress. The Predator stuff is really good. Go watch this movie, like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And the rest of them, we'll be back for Badlands, and I also believe we'll be back for I Know What You Did Last Summer in July. So keep a look on that as well. Thank you, everybody. Follow Katie over on Facebook too.